So this section, we're going to talk about placement. So this is what a placement is where your ad's going to actually be shown. So by default, Facebook picks automatic placement. And to be honest, now for a lot of our ads, we do leave automatic placements on. Most of our results will come from some specific spots, which we'll show you when we go into them. Once in a while, we still do go into manual placements depending on what our goal is. So for first, you can edit the type of device, but to be on or like mobile versus desktop, you do see a slightly higher conversion rate on desktop usually, but for the majority of people, 90+% of traffic's coming from mobile. So if you exclude mobile, you're excluding the majority of potential traffic. Like if we drop that down, like we went from 3.1 million to 850,000. That's a pretty big drop. Whereas if we go the other route, you can see we're only losing 200,000. So we normally just leave most of these on. I normally, again, don't touch that at all. In here, you can just go, hey, I want to turn off one specific one, but we'll actually go through these all at once and kind of go through everything so you can kind of see what they all are. So the first one is just the different types of feeds that are out there. So the best place to run ads are the Facebook news feed. This is just when you're scrolling through Facebook, it looks like a regular post shows up in there. Almost every single time you run an ad, this will be the top performing section. Option 2 is the Instagram feed. Normally from like a lead gen perspective, we don't get quite the same results off an Instagram feed post as we would from a Facebook news feed post, but that is one of the options here. Facebook Marketplace, if you're familiar with the Marketplace, it's just an ad that shows up in the feed at the Facebook Marketplace. We can leave it on, like we haven't found huge results from it, but it hasn't necessarily taken away from any results. Video feeds obviously would have to be a video ad, and as people are watching videos, like say one video finishes and the next one comes up, this would be one of the videos that would come up. Facebook right column is desktop only, so when someone's on it on the right side in a column, they'll see your ad. Since, again, the majority of people use Facebook from their phone, not a lot of right side column ads really even get shown that much, but they're there, they work. Again, they're not really going to take much away from the results of your ad, but they're not really going to add anything. It's just kind of there. In the Instagram Explorer, this is just the Explore page on Instagram. It's going to show up with an ad there. Again, it's not a big driver of anything from what we found so far. But I mean, to be open as well, we haven't done really too many tests with targeting only Instagram Explorer, which would be an interesting one to test at some point, but we just haven't gotten around to it. And then Messenger inbox, it would just be an ad inside Messenger. I wouldn't really do it. But you can see here, like it's not even available everywhere that you do it. But again, it's not really, I would think, that big of a deal. You can see here, it's just as people are scrolling through their stuff, it would be an option there. The next option is stories, Facebook, Instagram, or Messenger. I mean, by far, Instagram stories are the most popular, but you'd be surprised at how many people do still watch Facebook stories. And most of our Facebook stories are just our Instagram ones pushed to Facebook, and they actually still work pretty well. But on the ad front, like it is the top performing of like Instagram ads usually, but it's not a big performer in general when you compare it to the rest of it. So we don't do a lot of stories specific ads. We will add it as a placement, but we found that unless you're doing like it's specific to that medium, it's not nearly as effective. In-stream ads. Basically what this is, in-stream video ads, is someone's watching a video, and you've probably seen this, and then like a certain percent of the way into the video, it stops, forces you to watch the ad, then goes back to the video if you want to keep watching. There's value to it to a degree, not huge results. One of the downsides of this is it annoys people, and it's not always great that the first impression of your brand, if it's the first impression, is to annoy them by forcing them to stop. It does work better as a retargeting option if it's to people who like know you and like you, because then sometimes they find it fun to like see someone they know interrupting what they were doing. So we like it better. And like these are ones that are popular to be like screenshotted by someone and being sent to you if it does show up here. So There is some value to them if you have a video, but at the end of the day, it's not great. The one best practice I do like if you're doing an in-stream video is like doing a video and calling out the fact that you're interrupting what they're doing. Be like, sorry, I interrupted their video, so I'm going to keep this quick. And then you kind of go into your little pitch and then let them get back to the video. Search, Facebook search results. If someone searches for something on Facebook, this can show up in the results. We haven't found much from this one yet. It's all right. It's nothing special. Again, you don't have to necessarily take it out, but it's not going to be a big thing. Messages. This is basically if you get a lot of messages to your page, you could select to send out a message to a bunch of people, but they have to have already been connected to your business. So we found in that case, you should have their name, email, phone number. It's better just to email them and save the money. In article ads is, if you're familiar with the Facebook Instant article. So the Facebook Instant article is that some companies are allowed to preload their content to Facebook so that when you click on it, instead of you're going to their website, it just slides across the screen already loaded. This is a bigger deal in areas with slow internet speeds, slow mobile speeds. Like when this came out, it was a bigger deal, especially now with 5G rolling out. It's not a big deal for companies to have to upload in-article ads. So I don't really worry about this too much at all. It's great for retargeting and branding, but from a lead gen, I found most people don't really seem to click on these too much. It's a banner ad. Branding good, lead gen bad. The last section, apps and sites, is what's known as the Facebook Audience Network. So basically, if you're playing like a game like Candy Crush and you see ads in it, this is where they're being fed. So the app would take a % of the revenue generated from these ads, and then Facebook just gets an additional place to post their ads. Retargeting, these are normally pretty good. As like cold audience, we're not a big fan of these. The only exception is sometimes rewarded videos are decent. So what a rewarded video is that when someone is like playing, let's say Candy Crush. I don't even know if people still play that game. It's kind of old. But anyways, let's use Candy Crush as the example. So you're playing Candy Crush and you want to buy something that they're like, well, that's $2 to get this candy. I don't know if that's a thing. But anyways, to get something in the game, you have to pay money for it. The other option in a lot of these games is instead of that, just watch an ad. And if you watch the ad, then you can get that same reward. And the beauty of that is they actually have to watch the entire ad to get the reward. So now they can't leave that screen to get what they want. They have to watch your entire ad, and then they get rewarded at the end of it. So for some instances, you get a pretty high like watch all the way through rate with rewarded videos. So in that case, there are actually some interesting advantages. And this is one that I would like to test, doing some like specific tests just for this. If you have any questions at all about these, let us know. In-stream video ads similarly, it's like interrupts a game or whatever just to make you watch it. We're not a huge fan of that either. And then here you can get into a few other things. Most of these we ignore. We don't touch this most of the time. Like here you can go like, hey, I want it to go only to iOS or Android devices. That's more like if you have an app that's only on the App Store, you'd obviously only run it to Apple devices. But for most of you, not really that important. The only thing is if you're going to run an ad that's like a 20-minute video or something like that, you want to maybe run it to only people when they're connected to Wi-Fi. But again, in most areas, that's not a big deal because these aren't actually that huge data amount or something people really think about. We don't generally exclude skippable ads. Just haven't found it impacted much of the results. Anyways, and yeah, you can exclude content, but again, we don't really ever do this. But we have had the odd client asking us to like extreme right-wing or extreme left-wing publications. Can we exclude our content from showing on them? But that's really just a personal choice on your end if you want to do that. But for the most part, just for your own comfort, if you want, almost nobody ever actually does that. So that's placements. If you have any questions about placements, let us know. Again, most of the time, you're honestly fine just picking automatic placements and letting Facebook optimize your ad to get the best results. Once in a while, if you want to do specific tests or anything like that, absolutely jump in and do that. But for the most part, you're fine with automatic placements. The next video, we're just going to talk about how to budget and schedule your ad. That'll be a nice short and sweet one, but if you have any questions, let us know. And otherwise, go ahead and watch the next video.